Hello and welcome to this episode of the Redhead and the Bearded Beauty. I am the Bearded Beauty.
I'm the Redhead.
Yeah. I might dye my hair red just one of these weeks just to throw everybody off.
I think about dyeing it other colors so I'm less noticeable.
Yeah.
Honestly, all the time. I actually, just to kick it off, I got approached in a grocery store this week. And I don't like going in grocery stores because my superpower is that strangers talk to me all the time. It's just consistently. But I had to run in, and there was an individual behind me, and they tapped me on the shoulder as I'm checking out. And I've usually got headphones in, too. And they go, "Oh, are you the city weather girl?"
The city weather girl.
The city weather girl. Because every time we have, extreme weather or things, I'm on the news quite a bit for, flooding or snowplows or, street sweepers of the plains, what have you. But I didn't want to talk, so I just answered honestly. I was like, nope.
Nope, not me.
Yeah.
Well, behind this big old monitor here, we do have a green screen, so maybe we could start your own weather forecast if you want to do that.
We could 100% do that. No, though. No. I don't need more people to know who I am. I know I did get contacted by several people who said they were listening to this, including my brother's mother-in-law, Julie.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening, Julie. We love Julie. Also, my mom, who pretends like she doesn't listen, but secretly stalks me on social media.
Yeah.
So, yeah, she listens.
Every single episode and critiques you and lets you know.
Yeah, she also follows our Twitter, and when I say something funny, she's like, "Really, Megan? Really?"
Sounds like her and I could get along. Really,
yeah.
Megan?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I get a lot of that, but
yeah. I haven't been noticed out in public yet for this. Don't really expect to, but I do have one guy inside City Hall that every time I pass by him, he's like, "Really? The Bearded Beauty? The Bearded Beauty?"
Is that John Philbrick?
That is John Philbrick. Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah, with the name of the show, I don't know if everybody knows this or not, but it started off as a joke. I think we were heading down a different route. I can't remember what we were going to call it. And I was just kind of doing a rough mock-up of what the graphics would look like. Mm-hmm. And I just typed in the Redhead and the Bearded Beauty just to mess with you, to see what you thought. Mm-hmm. You came in and said, "Absolutely, that's great. I love it." And so it stuck.
Also, I didn't want to put any more effort into the naming of the show. I was like, "This is good. Let's do it.
Let's just go.
Let's just do it." Yeah. So we have branded beverages in front of us, and I won't say their name, but we have branded beverages. If you're watching on our YouTube, one of our 2,000 some subscribers on YouTube.
Yeah. 2,000. Yeah, it is 2,000. I don't know how many podcast subscribers we have yet, but
it's probably in the 5s to 6s.
I was going to give us 10s.
Oh, okay. I mean, that's enough. It's probably all our coworkers, but it's all good.
Yeah, we got to start somewhere, don't we?
We got to start somewhere.
And build our way up, and everybody wants local government news and
everyone
talk show.
Does. Who doesn't?
I think we need to shape this more after the SNL skit. I won't say the name here because we'll probably get in trouble for that. But
I agree. I think that's our demographic.
Yeah,
definitely. But yeah, so we have sodas in front of us. I mean, if these companies want to sponsor us, we're 100% open to that. We'll have Troy Houtman on in a while, and so the funds could go to the Parks Foundation. It'd be great.
Exactly.
However, we just came from outside, and it's very hot. So we're
very hot outside with the mayor's briefing. We're recording this on Thursday, so we were at the mayor's media briefing.
Yeah, we were at Nomar. It's we have a new shade structure out there. That's such a cool area, and I love that area of the city. So it's really coming along. There's so many new cool things going on. Empower Evergreen is doing a lot of cool stuff over there. So if someone hasn't checked out Nomar, be sure to go check that out. But that is also why we're like sweaty and my hair's frizzy. So if you're watching.
Yeah, and I was a little worried that I might have sweat like dripping down on my shirt and stuff. But I think we've gotten in here in the studio. It's a little cooler.
Yeah.
I'm settling in now, so we should be good. So
we make sacrifices for the city.
It's for the broader good.
Yes.
And so speaking of the ribbon cutting, these were out there.
Yeah. I'm proud of these.
Tell me about these scissors.
So these are our ribbon cutting scissors. They are very new. I've been asking for ribbon cutting scissors since my first day at City Hall. And it was never granted. We have tons of ribbon cuttings all the time. We have a box of these like silver scissors that we use, but it's just nothing's quite as satisfying as a large scissor. I got my first taste of large scissor power when I handled the opening of the Kansas Star Casino And it was a very proud moment. It was like leading up to, that moment. There's certain things you want to do as kids. Like you want to cut things with a big scissors. You want to ride in a fire truck. And I've gotten to do all of that in my time at City Hall.
And hold big checks.
Yes. Yeah.
All of it.
The whole thing. So it's really great. These are very sharp, though.
They are very sharp. I was surprised. I thought they'd be like little fake foam.
No. Oh, hold up your paper. Let's just show this for anyone watching. This isn't not.
Watch my fingers.
They're
very sharp.
They're very sharp. And so and these were, it's ridiculous. These were probably $25 on Amazon, and it took me 6 years to get them. So we are very fiscally responsible. I was very close to just like buying them myself, and just donating them. But I didn't want to have that. But if I had bought them myself, I was going to spray paint them gold and then put my name on them so that my name would be in every single ribbon cutting picture.
That would be awesome. I think
that would be kind of awesome.
We should just go buy a pair and put like Redhead and Bearded Beauty, so that's in every ribbon cutting from here on out.
Yes, just market the podcast. I'm here for that.
Let's do it. That sounds awesome. And one thing that it doesn't matter who it is, and mostly grown-ups, when they see these scissors, they want to run with them. Like
the mayor just did.
The mayor did this afternoon.
We had to take it from him. I got stern with the mayor. But yeah, but, he passed it on to the highest ranking elected official at any ribbon cutting gets first right of refusal for the scissors. We actually have a policy. But he was very nice, and he gave it to Council Member Ballard because, it's her district, for the shade structure. And, she was very responsible. And she did very well, and she, handed them back by the handle. But the mayor did not have the same scissor decorum. He was twirling them. You can check it out on our TikTok, actually, of me yanking it from him.
I'll have to go check that out.
Yeah.
And, maybe we're gonna have to come up with a large scissor handling training class for people.
If anyone did that, it would be government, and I could see us doing it.
It would be government. Yes, that sounds right up our alley.
Yeah, I could do that. That's fine.
I could see you teaching that kind of class.
Yes.
And make it exciting.
Yeah.
So maybe on the podcast we can give you tips down the road
on how to handle
scissors.
Yes.
So, do you think we've digressed far enough? We should probably get to our guest.
Yeah, let's get Troy on here.
We stop talking about scissors. So, here in just a minute, we'll have Troy Houtman, the director of Park and Recreation, on to talk about what their department's doing, all the exciting stuff they got going on. So, we're going to take a quick break and be right back. The City of Wichita has launched a new website to help local entrepreneurs as they start and grow their businesses, connect them with resources in the community, and provide guidance to small businesses seeking city contract opportunities. Visit workwith.wichita.gov for more information.
All right. So with us is Troy Houtman, director of Park and Rec. We're a little bit hot. My hair's frizzy and we're a little bit sweaty. We just came from the Nomar shade structure. We'll talk about that in a second, but first we're going to do our regular 2 truths and a lie. So Tyler, do you want to kick it off to kind of...
Yeah, I'll kick things off here. So it's my turn to do city facts, not personal information. So here are my 2 truths and a lie. The city has 11 electric buses. There are just under 400 trash bins downtown that Public Works empties on a regular basis. And the first mayor of Wichita was Benjamin Franklin McLean.
I think we have more electric buses than 11.
More than 11? How about you, Troy? What do you think?
I think we have less electric buses than 11.
No, we have 11 electric buses. That's true.
That's true. I thought we had 16. Maybe it's just we have them in the planning.
Maybe that's the case, or maybe when I got those numbers, they weren't including the trolleys. But I was given, we have 11 electric buses.
Yeah. Okay. All
right. And then yes, Public Works does 381 trash bins. I didn't want to give a precise number because when I give precise numbers, it's like
something's down or we've added or something.
But the first mayor of Wichita was actually Edwin Byrd Allen.
Oh.
So I don't know if anybody really knew that, but Benjamin Franklin McLean was our 14th mayor from 1901 to 1904.
Oh, well, that's awesome. Wow. We just renamed a street after our first Jewish mayor, Saul Cohn. So it's exciting.
So very exciting stuff.
Yeah.
So how about you, Megan?
All right. So my 2 truths and a lie are music related. I have to do personal facts. And as you know, I hate talking about myself. So I struggled. But I think I've come up with something. So I love going to concerts. My first concert was The Killers, and my favorite band are the Black Keys. That's it.
Your first concert was The Killers and the Black Keys.
I know, that's a difficult one.
I'm going to go with the Black Keys as your lie.
No, that is 100% true. I actually hate going to concerts. I don't hate it. I don't like concerts.
Just not a fan of concerts.
I'm not. I don't mind live music, and especially if it's like NASCAR Park or something. I like going in that. But like crowded concerts, it's just not my jam.
I'm a big fan of concerts, and that could be why my hearing is going down.
Or because you constantly have to, for your job, have to have people talking in your ear.
Yeah, people talking in my ear.
Yeah.
That could be part of it too. But
Yeah.
All right, Troy, how about you?
All right, so here they are. I met 5 presidents. I used to be a truck driver. And in the Army, I served as a paratrooper.
Okay, I know that you served as a paratrooper. I know you were in the Army. How about that?
Yes.
So I think that's true.
I'm going to go with that one as true as well. I'm going to say you met like 4 presidents, not 5.
Or 6. I'm going to say you met 6, just to be different.
So you think I was a truck driver?
I think
Yeah.
you could have been a truck driver at one
You
point.
actually think I drove trucks?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah? That's a lie.
Oh.
I thought about it.
Yeah.
There was one point in my young life as I'm going through things going, which way do I go? What do I do? And actually, I went to truck driving school, but I never completed.
Never actually became a truck driver.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to say, that's kind of a wide range, because when I worked at Channel 10, I drove their satellite truck. So
Yeah,
I was thinking something along those lines, working on
I
a
was
farm,
too.
you know.
Yeah.
Well, I should have said an over-the-road truck driver.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, there's still time. I was just reading an article about the national need for truck drivers. Like, we're in a huge shortage, so.
Maybe I should get a part-time job.
We both could take that
Yeah.
on and
Yeah.
a
That's
little
right.
extra cash on the side.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. So now to what we actually do. No more truck driving. So we Megan
Little
had
bit
mentioned in the opening here that we just came from Nomar, dedicated new shade structure. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. So, not sure if you all know where Nomar is at, but
We were just there, Troy.
Okay.
You were talking to us, and we were just there
Yes.
with you.
Okay. Well, very good. Great spot. So, in the corner of the Hispanic community, Nomar has a little village there, a little plaza there. And about 2.5 years ago, we started really thinking about what can we do to spruce it up. We really wanted to have an economic impact with vendors. And one of the culture of the Hispanic community is open markets. And we really wanted to put a situation over there where there was open markets where people could sell food, sell their sell their artwork, market some of the other commercial goods that they might be selling. So we wanted to make sure that there was an opportunity to do that with some shade. And so we just put in these beautiful, beautiful shade structures. And the cool thing about it, they were designed by LK, and they fit in to the whole motif of the area. All the colors match perfectly. And we had some community engagement. We had some folks actually come in and help us with the design to make it all happen. So during Open Streets, just was 2 weeks ago, a week and a half ago, we actually used it for the first time. We had some food vendors there, some great tacos. There was some raspas, which is shaved ice, good stuff for a hot day. And there was other folks selling some T-shirts, some jewelry, some other stuff as well. So it was a great test run. And I think this summer we're going to start working with some folks to do some more vending there, have an open market. Pretty exciting stuff.
That's really cool.
And the really cool thing is we always talk about parks and recreation, just green space. As my friend Becky Tuttle always says, swim and gym. But we're way more than that. We do all kinds of things. And this is an economic impact that's going to have an impact on a lot of folks.
It's a great exposure to all of the vendors in that area and businesses. If you're not familiar with them, I'm careful about mentioning businesses. On this government podcast,
we don't want to promote individual businesses,
but there's just some really great restaurants, a bakery that I'm especially fond of, and just so many great things. And I've heard some of my friends had never gone down and explored that area, but they went to Open Streets and they loved it. So it's
That area has really improved and really taken off since I've been here with the city, and I came in 2008, and we did that No More project, and that's just spurred other development down that corridor and all the improvements to the roadway. It's really a neat little area of town now. So,
like we say, like rising tide raises all ships.
So the cost of putting these shades in there was a little over $100,000, and a lot of that's because of the recent supply chain and all those type of things. But that investment is going to come back tenfold, easy.
Yeah, that's really cool. So tonight, I know I'm not going, but you and Tyler are going to the Excellence in Public Service Awards. The City Award winner was your right-hand guy, Reggie Davidson. Tell us about Reggie and what he won.
Reggie Davidson, awesome guy.
We love Reggie.
Just a hardworking, really smart guy. And I in the speech out at No More, I talked a little bit about what he always says all the time is teamwork makes the dream work. And it's his tagline on the bottom of his emails, and he uses it quite a bit. And he lives up to it. And that's the thing that's really cool is, as a leader, he promotes that, he embodies that, and really facilitates that with his team and with the other folks that we work with outside our department. So it's always exciting to me when I see people like your reaction, both of your reactions about Reggie, is that he's great to work with. He's a really smart guy. He makes things happen. And so he was nominated for this Excellent in Public Service Award by one of his employees, Elisa Arcadia Harrison. And she's another awesome employee as well. And she nominated him because she really lives up to his motto, and they see the teamwork within the recreation division really, really happening all the time. The 4 years that he's been here, he's really made things a lot easier for me, and he's just made a lot of things happen. We're growing in our programming. We're doing more special events. We're doing tons more partnerships than ever before. Just elevated everything that we do tenfold. And so I'm very excited for him. I'm very proud for him. It's a great reflection on the department, but also on Reggie.
Yeah, we love working with Reggie. Great guy, great to work with, and his team, very good, and very creative. Some of the stuff, the mayor, I think, mentioned on his show that very creative and coming up with ideas and things for people to do during COVID and thinking outside the box. So speaking of Reggie and recreation and all the different stuff, you got a lot of stuff coming up this summer, different events?
Yeah. Just the big thing is getting our pools open. And last year was this opportunity to renovate our pools. We went through the aquatics master plan, and we're finishing up on that. College Hill is finishing up renovation, and we're adding 2 more splash pads, which I'm really excited about. One of them is this giant scorpion. That's the one that I chose.
There's nothing children love more than scorpions.
Yeah, it's a giant scorpion, and
the creepy crawly stuff.
The water shoots out of them and everything. It's going to be over at Harrison Park. It's going to be awesome. But last year we really saw the benefits of the aquatics master plan, and it was over 7 years worth of community engagement that we really changed some different ways of what we're going to be doing with the aquatics master plan. Instead of right out replacement, we enhanced all the swimming pools, 6 of them. We changed a few of them into splash pads, but they are awesome splash pads. So this is a whole different idea than what we've seen anywhere across the country. Is we took the old and kept it, but spruced it up and make it look really, really nice. That really gave us a lot of bang for our buck. We were, instead of spending the money on just making 2 brand new swimming pools, we got 6 renovated swimming pools and 6 new splash pads. And that includes adding art elements to it, more color, easier access because we put 0 depth entries, we put in more slides, just really making the pool experience a whole bunch better.
I would say too, even calling it a swimming pool is almost a misnomer, because it's they're playgrounds. There's so much stuff to do, even outside of just swimming. We were at the McAdams pool opening, and I was the one videotaping it, and everyone's really excited. I really credit Brandon Johnson the Council of Elders with really keeping that pool and helping us keep that asset. But, what was funny about that, I'm going to tell a story on Troy real quick. So we had a lot of speakers. It was a really big event. Mr. McAfee was there. I called it McAdams Pool. It's the McAfee Pool now. It was really neat. It was the first time, and he spoke a lot of heartfelt stories. But it was kind of a hot day, and the kids were really excited to swim. So they're waiting, and all these adults are speaking, and the kids are just like, well, I don't care about this. I want to swim. But next to the kids excited to get in the pool was Troy Houtman in his swimsuit, and he was the first one who jumped in that pool. The minute we were done, he was in there.
That's awesome.
It was great.
Yep. Yeah, there's this really cool climbing wall that you climb up, and you can fall, and you're not going to get hurt because it's in the deep end. And I was trying some of my old dives from 40 years ago, and I still got it. That's the cool thing.
I believe it.
I think I might have belly flopped off the top of it, Try to do a backflip and just not good. So, one thing I really love about all the pools and the splash pads, I've yet to get my girls around to all of them, but is the unique aspects that each one of them bring. It's not like it's cookie cutter and it's the same thing at each location.
Yeah.
It fits the neighborhood, and it's got a theme for each neighborhood. So.
Yeah, it was inspired by each one of those neighborhoods, trying to get that history built into the splash pads. And it's just something I'm just so proud of. And I share that with my colleagues from across the country. And it's a totally different direction. We did something that nobody really does. Everybody wants the swimming pools to be brand new, spanking, and we renovated them, but we were able to really stretch the dollar. And to me, that really kind of fits what we're supposed to be doing in regards to making the most out of our taxpayer dollars and really serving the community.
Yeah. I want to brag on your staff and all the swim instructors and lifeguards. We send our girls to swimming lessons over the summer to the public pools. And last summer, I just saw both of our girls just take off. I think we had them kind of in the same level. And then by the end of it, my older girl, she was already in the 3 or 4 levels ahead. Just, they worked with her and just took off. And then our youngest, she was kind of afraid to be on her own, and now she's actually able to swim a little bit, and so we figured we'll see the same growth at her this summer, just go up a few levels. So your staff does a really good job with swimming lessons.
So Brian Hill gets all the credit, and unfortunately he's leaving us. His last day is in a couple weeks. Been a fantastic employee for Parks and Recreation and for the City of Wichita organization, and the consultant that did the work for us snagged him and saw the potential in his abilities, which again I'm really proud of, because all the people that have left us have left for bigger and better things, and that's the thing that I'm really excited about, is folks that come into our organization and into the department, they learn a lot of different skills, and then they move on to bigger and better things. And I think that training comes from the environment that we provide within Parks and Recreation to help people grow and give them opportunities to express themselves and be creative.
Completely. And a lot of people, it's a great, I think you have an amazing staff. But speaking of hiring, we are hiring for the summer. I got a question from Mark at KSN about if the pools were able to open if we had enough lifeguard staff, and we do. We're ready, because it opens on Memorial Day.
That's correct.
Oh yeah, that's coming up really fast. But we are still hiring, right? So if anyone has a teen or just someone who needs a summer job, it's a great opportunity.
Most definitely. We are going to open all the pools. We do have enough lifeguards to do that, and staff. However, we always want to have a little bit more.
Yeah.
So there's still an opportunity to get your application in. I think we still have some training classes as well. So I started my career as a lifeguard many years ago.
I think a lot of people do.
Yeah. And it's just a great job. It's just a lot of fun.
Well, it's nice. My one of my friends, texted me. Her son is now 15, and he needs a job. And they live in College Hill with me. And she's like, "Oh, Weston needs a job." And so I checked on some things. But Brian was so great. He's like, "Yeah, I'll work with him. We'll get him trained up for the CPR classes, and so he can just bike to his local neighborhood pool, and it's really fantastic for them." So
yeah. Great stuff. So. You've had a lot of stuff going on with your department over the years. You've been a busy guy. Everything from all the golf stuff going on, and the tree policy, something that's been recently had come up. Where are we at with that?
So let me talk a little bit about 7.5 years I've been here, and there's been, like I mentioned, some turnover in staff, and with that, there's a lot of new faces and more training, but more opportunities for different things. It to me is just unbelievable, all the things that this department provides, and but we keep going through different challenges, and we got through the golf challenge, and we're moving forward with that, making improvements to the golf courses. And you mentioned trees. So one of the things that we're very passionate about and really important to all of our parks and all of our public settings is trees. And I'm not going to go through checking all the boxes in regards to what trees provide, shade, heat island, all kinds of good stuff. But the thing about it that we're dealing with right now is that we're losing more trees than what we are actually putting back into the ground. And there's a couple different ways we can change that, is to protect the trees that we do have, and then also get a program to actually plant more trees into the ground as well. So Gary Ferris, our arborist and forester, he has a plan of helping us get more trees in the ground. And typically what we've always done is we put in a somewhat mature tree, something that's 4 or 5 years old that we get from the nursery, and we go by caliber, and so maybe it's a 2-inch caliber or 3-inch caliber, so it's a little bit bigger tree, right? And we put that in the ground. You have to water it, you have to take care of it, and all that kind of good stuff. That takes a lot of time and a lot of resources. So we're going to try something a little bit different. There's 2 different things that we're going to try, and one of them is using bare root trees. And so they're a little bit smaller. They're really small. And what happens is we pull them out of the ground, not with the soil, but just bare root. And we go out there and actually plant them. The survivability rate is probably about 50%. But when they do survive, they survive really, really strong because they become hardy. And that just really relieves a lot of the labor to go with it. And they're small. And so we're not necessarily spending a whole lot of money on them. The bigger you buy them, obviously, the more they cost. And the other thing that we're going to be doing is doing seedlings. Again, smaller trees, seedlings. They're 2 or 3 years old. And we're just going to go out there and plant them in the ground. And again, survivability rate is about 50%. But if we put 10,000 in the ground and 50% live, that's 5,000 trees for a fraction of the cost of what we were doing before, purchasing bigger trees, 2 or 3-inch caliber. So a change of strategy, and the reason why we did those immediately on all those projects, the bigger ones, was because aesthetics. Yeah. And you want to see that instant, we planted the tree, and that tree is on its way to providing shade and growing and all that kind of stuff.
Well, you don't always notice when a smaller tree goes out, but the bigger trees, you do notice. Yeah. I know that talking with Gary Ferris, who's an expert, and some of our other folks, I don't know if you remember, but a few years ago we had that massive drought, and there was grass in the river, and that killed a bunch of our trees, and we're still kind of recovering from that. And I think it's hard to remember sometimes also that trees are organic and they have a lifespan, and how much of the tree canopy does the city of Wichita, like as a governmental entity, how much can we plant on? How much are we responsible for?
So the city owns a lot of land.
Yeah.
So it's probably the largest landowner in this area, but then again, you look at in the bigger perspective, it's only about 10%. So of that, we are planted trees, but not every single piece of city property has trees on it.
Because we have buildings and things that we have to do. So if that's only like 10%, I've heard a few other things. But what are some things that residents can do to help increase our tree canopy? Well,
2 things. And going back really quick to the tree policy, the other part of the tree policy is to protect the trees that we already have.
Yeah.
So if there's ways that we can avoid removing them from one way or another. So there's some built-in protections for that. That goes the same for private property owners, developers as well. As they start to plan their construction, are there ways that they can do that to protect trees? And we cannot always do that because it's adjacent to the road. It has to be part of the emergency route or something. So when you do that, though, is to replace those trees. And if every resident would plant 2 trees, we would have 800,000 trees planted in no time.
Wow.
So, yeah.
I don't know if I have room for 2 trees on my property right now. I think I've got like 5 or 6 on my property. That big old maple trees provide a lot of shade.
Yeah.
It's really nice to have.
Well,
Yeah.
just one, and there's a lot of businesses, and I go through and drive by the Coke compound or complex or campus. They call it a
there you go.
campus, and there's tons of green space there. If they would plant 50 trees, that'd save them from mowing and adding fertilizer and that kind of stuff. And those trees, they would need a little bit of care for the first 3 years, but afterwards, the payback would be enormous for them. So it's places like that where there's a lot of wide open spaces that could really benefit from just putting a bunch of trees in there. And the more you put in one spot, obviously you got to spread them out a little bit, but it just makes it a little bit easier to maintain them. Yep.
Gotcha. And with all this hard work your department's doing, the tree policy with the golf stuff and all the other exciting stuff your staff is doing to bring fun to Wichita, you guys have been recognized as I'm blanking on the name of it right here. Gold medal finalist. Yes. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, last year we were a gold medal finalist, but that meant we were one of 4 cities from across the country that met the standards and qualifications to be a gold medal winner. So we didn't win last year. Tampa won, and so this year we're again a finalist, and we are competing against Des Moines, Plano, Texas, and Henderson, Nevada. So those are all really quality parks and recreation cities, and particularly Plano as well as Henderson. They are often cited as some of the best programs, some of the best amenities. People really use their policies and procedures, and they're used for examples all over the country. So to be in the same name as them is really kind of flattering to me. But I'm really excited. I think we really have a great opportunity to win it this year, and to be even a finalist, one of the top 4 cities across the country. To be considered for a gold medal is pretty exciting. We did win the gold medal back in 1968, or is it 1967? I'm sorry, 1967. Prior to our department being a department of Parks and Recreation, was actually the Board of Park Commissioners. When they were an independent agency outside of the city, it was something that actually merged in the late 80s into the city. But the legacy, it still goes on, and there's so much history about the Board of Park Commissioners and the things that they've done throughout the years, and we're still doing great things now.
And I think this could be the year. I really do.
We have to put together a really lengthy video, so we're hoping it's the year.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
okay, I'm going to bring up the elephant in the room as our final thing. Why, Troy? Why is it park and recreation instead of parks and recreation?
Just what I was talking about. So it's an ode back to the Board of Park Commissioners. And so prior to this department being a part of the city, as I mentioned, the Board of Park Commissioners operated and maintained a lot of different parks and did a lot of programming. And they started back in the early 1910 is when they first started.
Mm-hmm.
And Riverside is a great example of some of the work there. They also owned, I'm drawing a blank. Clapp Park is a good example. So Clapp Park is owned by the Board of Park Commissioners. So in the late 80s, there was an opportunity to put them together to reduce duplication of services. And so to honor the Board of Park Commissioners, the name of Park and Recreation was developed. So even though we maintain over 140 parks, our official name is Park and recreation.
I don't think a lot of people know that, so it's good to get it out there.
I did not know that. I just learned something new today.
Oh,
so
wow, it's
yeah.
We had something like there was a big discussion to add the S onto parks, but it's a historic throwback.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else coming up, Troy, that you want to talk about?
Wow, we just got a really busy summer. NASCAR Park has a lot of things going on. It's going to be a fun summer.
All
That's
right.
awesome. All right, dad jokes.
Dad jokes. Troy, did you bring us a dad joke?
I had one, but I did not have the time to bring it, so I apologize. But I'm going to have to bow out, but I'll send you one.
You did have one on last week's show.
I did. The hole-in-one.
The
hole-in-one,
yeah.
yes.
That was a good one.
We use that one, so yeah. that was good. So I've got two that I can I'll make up for it today.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So I don't know if you guys know this, but I used to run a chicken dating service. Yeah. That's a new age type thing, but it failed, because I was struggling to make hens meet.
Okay.
I got one more. I don't know if you want to hear it or not. Oh, yeah, he's digressed fast. But so the other day, I got on Amazon, shop on Amazon a lot. I ordered a live chicken.
This is chicken
Didn't know
themed today.
if you could do that.
Uh-huh.
And I also ordered an egg. I'll let you know.
Oh, wow. Oh, that's good. Yeah. I like the chicken theme today.
Yeah.
I know
yeah.
that chickens are a thing with your family right now.
Yes,
too,
yes.
so
We have a theme within our family. I guess last Christmas, we were deciding, all of us siblings, what theme we should do for gifts for each other. And my wife, just being a smart aleck, decides, how about chickens? And somebody's like, yes, let's do chickens. So we did a chicken Christmas present theme this last year. So
I love that.
So I have a chicken calendar in my office.
It's fantastic.
So
I love that.
how about you?
Okay. What begins with W and ends with T?
I don't know.
That's the whole thing. What begins with W and ends with T?
Dang it. I should have saw that coming. That was a good one.
So this isn't a joke, but but she made me think of something that was really interesting. So we were at Open Streets Nomar, and it's ICT Open Streets. And so somebody came up to me and asked me, what does ICT stand for? And I go, well, duh, it's the airport code. And they said, well, no, what does ICT stand for? And again, I said, well, that's the airport code. We got past that. And then I did a little bit more research, and I found out that how they actually create airport codes, right? So you think about my hometown, Albuquerque, it's LBQ.
Mm-hmm.
There's like Dallas Love Airport, it's LOV, right? But they don't use W's for airport codes. So it couldn't be like WIC for Wichita, right? So the W is gone. They don't use the W. And so that's how ICT, is the remainder of some of the letters in Wichita, is used.
Oh, that's pretty cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So
So everybody just, assumes ICT, that's Wichita's airport code, but you'll never see an airport code that begins with a W.
I didn't know that.
I'll have to have Jesse on here and tell us more about that. Our airport director. Have him talk about that some more.
I feel like I should have known that.
Yeah.
But
Well, we're learning a lot today.
so much informational.
Our infotainment.
Infotainment.
Troy, thank you so much for being on the show today, and we look forward to having you on again soon.
I always enjoy coming, talking to you guys, whether it's here or out in the field or whatever, but love to talk about my department, especially great people like Reggie and Brian. I could just go down the whole list. All of them.
All of
great.
them. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
great people to work with. So, and thank you for watching this episode of The Redhead and the Bearded Beauty. If you'd like to leave us a comment or send us a dad joke, we can use it on the next show. Email us at social@wichita.gov. Again, thanks for watching.